Good morning, everyone. All right, just a little bit of a trivia tidbit for you. So TIBCO, maybe many of you don't know, actually the name stands for the Information Bus Company. We started as a US-based company more than 30 years ago, actually. And today is known as one of the global leading software provider enabling enterprise in terms of solving their problems around integration, data management, and analytics. Right. So today I'm here to share with you our solutions and also our experience in helping customers in their digital transformation journey. Right. So why the need to modernize the enterprise data fabrics? So set the premise a little bit, share a little bit about our solutions platform and the key solutions concepts, and then we'll take it forward. All right. So why the need for modernizing the enterprise data fabric? So just thanks to IDC for these numbers. First of all, if you take a quick look at this, no need to think about how big is 33 zettabytes. Just I think the significance here is more on the relative percentage of how information is being processed and actually useful to the enterprise today. So all the data that we are producing, actually 85% of those data are replicated data. So a lot of the enterprise today that's spending cost and infrastructure and effort is to duplicate and share duplicated data around. Only 15% of the data actually original data that has true business values to the enterprise. And out of those 15%, actually only barely half of that is actually tagged with context. So tag meaning it provides the context of the informations or the informations to be useful, or data to be useful. And of all those tag information, only actually 20% actually made it to the analytics infrastructure. And then ultimately, of all the analytics work that's being done, only about 1% of the outcome of those optimized model predictions and everything actually get applied to your business. So you see the challenge as IDC point out, and it sits at the heart of most enterprise today is, how do you manage, your growing data infrastructure, integration infrastructure that needs to continuously evolve and connect to multiple, customer front end endpoint, your business ecosystems, and yet at the same time provide, data quality and data management and governance, maintain quality and complexity across all that. So we believe that this challenge sits at the heart of most enterprise data management executives today. Right. So you look at what's hindering those quality and data management challenges. So it's all in the enterprise existing data fabrics, and most enterprise, you look at the data fabric in the enterprise, you see this kind of picture. It's very much dispersed, and the data exists in silos because it has very specific. It's been ingested and maintained as part of silo applications, right? So there's not much sharing across the enterprise, and not much detections and governance centralized place for you to go and know who, what, when, where, who are my clients across the enterprise, what kind of data they are accessing and using today, when and where they're accessing those data. And is the data they're getting, is it actually true, or clean data, or they're getting some dirty old duplicated data, right? So that's the key challenge. So how to go from there from that to this? So how to in terms of modernizing the enterprise data fabrics? So providing a clean, established, data infrastructure from the point of ingesting your data sources, addressing the data integration issues as pointed out earlier, and then upon ingestions, how to move data from silo types of perspective onto the enterprise perspective, and then promote that enterprise perspective, enterprise 360 views of data to the data consumers. So not only for reuse, but for sharing appropriate data when and where at the right time that the customers needed. So when we talk to customers, the customers that we're working with globally, they're looking for solutions to this. They have some very key requirements. First of all, they want something that's non-disruptive. So when you bring in a solutions, my enterprise data fabrics today, I have tons of data sources, and I have ongoing data lake, data warehouse initiatives, and then on the front end, I have growing front end touch point across my customer and ecosystem, right? So I want the solutions that is non-disruptive to my existing infrastructure, and bring it in a plug and play manner. And of course, when you talk about data, you talk about volume here. So your solutions have to scale. The performance has to be there. And then also it has to be extensible and scalable. So, and forward-looking and flexible in terms of not only addressing my on-site, on-premise kind of data sources today, but my current digital transformation journey to the cloud future, right? And above all, it has to have out-of-the-box connectors and adapters who talk to all my current systems. If I bring you in and I have to spend millions of dollars writing codes to connect before I can get to my data, then the solution is not going to cut it, right? And above all, it needs to be proven. The concepts of data integration and data transformations and quality control is obviously not new, right? It's been decades in the making, right? So the solution needs to be proven, right? So with that, I'd like to introduce to you the core concepts of our TIBCO solutions here. What we call the TIBCO Unified Product Family. So this is the Unified, just a product family name that represents our comprehensive solutions for data management and data governance. And please don't let the rich PowerPoint overwhelm you with the key details. I just want to point out that the component comprised of three core modules. First module is what we call data virtualizations. So this helps you with the connectivity and integrations with your data sources in the endpoint systems. And upon connecting, it can introspect and tell what kind of data is there. And then it allows you to, from there, build, transform, some expose enterprise view to your front end customer and clients. So the customer, who are the customer and the clients? Obviously, you have your day-to-day business operations running your business, and you have your analysts and your data scientists to do, analytics or advanced learning. And then also you have to obviously be compliant, right? So exposing, standard-based reusable services with enterprise perspective of data to all these end users. So that's what at the core the data virtualization enable. But how it does that? It requires the use of the other two modules. The first one is the master data. So this is a solution, as you know, master data management is for modeling and controlling master data, your core business object in the enterprise. So you use this layer to build out the enterprise perspective of data that you want the front end to see and use. So this gives you it takes you away from the back end silo, perceptions of data to the front end, and enables you to have the perspective from the enterprise front ends. And second thing is master data more than just modeling, right? It is provide data ingestion and cleansing capability, data quality control for you to have a centralized repository of data, the clean data. So that clean data itself can then go through this virtualization layer to serve to the front end. So it ultimately you have all clean all data across silos that can be cleaned, and then quality control and governance centralized to this, and then expose that out to the front end in your transformation journey, right? So let me just quickly walk through each of these component key concepts in the next few slides. So first off is data virtualizations. As you know, that you could see from the previous diagram, previous slide, it sits at the heart of the solutions. So data virtualization is not a new concept. If you just Google, you see that the concepts of building a service-oriented architecture and providing data as a service, it's been there for more than a decade or so. So what's new and what's changing? So what's new is that obviously now there's the explosion of the information and the more pressing demanding in the business to provide the solution. The customer is demanding that enterprise 360 view, and at the same time the ingestion points, your data sources is increasing in terms of number, variety, formats, protocols, and volumes, all of that. So it's driving a more critical and pressing needs to have these solutions work. And so again, the customer is looking for a solution that is non-disruptive. Non-disruptive. I have out-of-the-box connectors and fast time to market. It needs to be proven, right? You are providing a virtual access layer. You're going to take my data to all my sources and serve it up to front end. It needs to scale. It needs to perform, right? And also, the goal is not to replace solution or disrupt solutions like data lake or data warehouse, but the goal is to complement those infrastructure and have the DV serve, on top of the data infrastructure can provide a centralized governance infrastructure for you to provide that what, when, where, kind of knowledge throughout your infrastructure, right? So this is the key slide to the whole solution actually. So when you bring in a data virtualization solutions, it gives you this kind of what it enable you to have what we call providing the data semantics layer for you to look at data in your enterprise. So DV will connect to So DV it connects to the data sources and expose data source at the physical data service layer, and then it enable you to build and construct the enterprise perspective of data. So here at the business the data service here is where your master data definitions and model would come in, and then from there it can be packaged according to required applications needs for the front end systems. So you see, first here is decoupling all of the backends, evolving technology and changes from the front end. So front end will no longer be impacted whether my data is actually coming from a package app or Excel file or is moving to a data lake. I no longer need to know or care. I'm accessing at this layer, at the enterprise layer here, right? So this sits at the heart of the solutions concept. But of course, the key differentiation is how to implement and make this performance and scalable, right? Right. So the first key issue is connecting, integrating. You're talking about data. The first thing you have to do is be able to get the data. That's a key requirement. So you see the core strength is we have out-of-the-box connectors and adapters for everything under the sun. You can see here, right? So you don't have to write code to connect to any of this platform system, right? So with the data virtualization layer established, so this is where the master data is where you have a platform for enabling the enterprise perspective data and also enabling that clean quality control and governed the data centralized data master data repository. So you show this through master data management. And our platform supports all MDM implementations patterns, but our experience is, most customers starts with the consolidation pattern, non-disruptive. So all the master data is still authored in the original systems. You're defining your data customer in your Oracle ERP, SAP ERP customer master. You still work the same way, but then it gets centralized into the MDM layer to be clean along the way with business rules and things like that. How it need to be clean, duplications will be detected and all that. And here you end up with a clean, centralized repository of the data. Then eventually you move from this non-disruptive model onto a coexistent type of model. You start having new business and applications using, TIBCO EBEX directly to define your models. While other existing legacy applications can still continue to use their front end, so that no need to change for any front end or customer. Yes. Right. So as I point out already, the key point is how it fits, MDM, how it fits into the enterprise data fabric. So it serves two key purposes. One is to help you define that enterprise perspective of data. Second is to provide the golden copies of your data, and this can again be exposed through the DV layer here, data virtualization layer here as data to serve up to the front-end customer. Right. And finally, is the third component is the metadata management platform. So this is the where you implement your data catalog and business glossary. So this is a key component for your enabling your centralized data governance perspective. Right. So it builds on top of, again, it builds on top of the DV, the data virtualization layer. So it has the knowledge of where the data comes from, what kind of change it has gone through, and which applications and things are using it. So it provides a centralized place for your business user and analysts to come through a portal and discover, data in the enterprise. I'm developing a new analytics platform. I need to find out what kind of customer information is available in the enterprise. I can go here and I can find out which other applications are actually using that data sets, where that data set came from, how it's transformed to the backend system. It provides end-to-end data lineage for you to tell when, what, where, how that thing is defined. So that's through the DV layer combined with the data catalog, as you see, it gives you a centralized place for you to enable governance and audits and control, right? So obviously, as things are going through this layer and being served up to the front end, you can have log or services to provide audits, footprints, and all of that disable. And each of the layer you can have security, filtering, encryptions, and all of that to filter information accordingly, right? And also, right. So, in summary, I just want to point out you can would be happy to have you go to TIBCO.com/unify to learn more. But the key message I would like to share is just the TIBCO Unify, it enable a complete solutions for customers today. We are working with customers globally as well as in the region and in Hong Kong to enable this kind of infrastructure to help them modernize their data fabrics so that they would have, clean data to address the data integrations and also the quality and the contents of data as the IDC studies pointed out earlier. Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, View. We actually have one question. If you can just stay put right there, go stay at the markings. We have a question on Zoom, and it was transferred on Slido. The question is, I would like to ask Mr. View on how the data fabric process streaming data. Please, question from Viet Software International Vietnam. So, Mr. View, if you can answer that question.
Sure. To address that question, probably let me go back to can I show my slide? Let's go back to, so the data virtualization itself, okay, yes. So, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, oh, sure. Okay. So, yeah, great question from Vietnam. And so to address that question, so in the data virtualization layer here, maybe I go back to sorry. Okay. So as you can see here, we have both enable integration capability, both a data at rest and as real-time data. And the real-time data here can be streaming data. So your Kafka, your IoT, MQTT devices, market feeds and all that. We have out-of-the-box connectors for that, for those streaming data here. So that, it can then basically be a service centralized layer for you to expose those data to the client. So let me show. Okay, yeah. Okay, you look here. You would be able to see, yeah, streaming data sources. So all these different data sources and it's all available out of the box. We can connect to this. So all of these connectors and adapters here is to show that immediately we are plug and play. So bring in and be able to immediately connect to your system and get the data source out without having you to code adapter or connectors to do this.